Welcome back, y'all. It's Bianca woke up late, and today I got some really sad news. Why the Last Man has been canceled. And to be honest, I'm not surprised. I kind of expected this. I told you guys that I was gonna try to do like a review every episode, but as I was watching each and every episode, I realized there wasn't much developing and there was really nothing for me to review. It kind of would be the exact same thing over and over with them barely inching closer to any type of resolution or solution. In fact, I felt like even the problems weren't that big. My biggest issue with the series so far is that for the end of the world, it's not very scary at all. And that kind of scares me when it comes to a drama series about the pretty much the end of half of the human race. You know how The Walking Dead really captivated you because people were getting eaten? Well, in Why the Last Man, it's very not captivating because most people don't know that there's a last man living. Everyone assumes he's dead. And the only thing women are worried about is food and shelter. And they aren't really slaughtering people in the way that The Walking Dead slaughters people. You know what I mean? Remember Negan? How ruthless that was? And I want to say it's the writers, but I also want to say it's just the perception of women and that we're going to be these calm people. I thought they would have really expanded more on the clash between the head of state and the former head of state's daughter. And to be honest, that seems like such a slow burn. And it goes to show you that without men around, we understand that men are violent, right? But without them around, we start to see where women are their most violent. And this show doesn't really necessarily demonstrate physical violence, but more of social violence. It's more of a cutting of words, hair, or theoretical theories or what have you about just the idea of who you are as a woman or as a person with or without a man. And the only thing that they really did well was demonstrating the different type of groups that existed in that world. But where I feel like they kind of lost me, or they just kind of lost the sauce, is trying to tell a very older story in more modern time. So Why the Last Man was written about 20 years ago, I want to say. So Why the Last Man came out as a comic book series in the early 2000s, around 2002. And at that time, gender and gender conformity or non-conformity was really not what it is today. There was definitely a binary and a lot less trans rights and trans freedoms and trans acceptance, right? So now 20 years later, when trans people have more rights than ever, are louder than ever, have, really put their foot down, the writers have to compensate and include those trans people into this series. Now that's not an issue. The issue I find is that we've spent so much time talking about why men exist in this world that doesn't have men in it, why men exist. And they kind of also hinted at the fact that a lot of women died as well because they also had Y chromosomes. And all of that is completely understandable, but I feel like they spent so much time talking about it. At least every episode it was talked about for 5 minutes. And it really did nothing to develop the overall story or move anything really forward. And I feel like that was a waste of time because what they really need to spend time on is really developing these huge characters that they have. They have so many characters that can't just be boiled down to just their genetic makeup. Okay, we get it. It's all women left, right? And a few men. But there's so many women and they don't get into who these women really are. We get a few flashbacks of Agent 355 and that's cool. She was gonna be my my girl from Jump, because to be honest, she's the only one that looks like me. So she was my favorite from the trailer. She's the reason I watched. I'm not gonna lie to you. She's the reason I watched in the first place, but then I also liked the story and it interested me. And then you have Diane Lane's character who plays the president, and we're not really developing her. We're kind of making her like she just feels like a housewife, and she's the president. Like, and she feels like a housewife to me. Like, she just seems so together but not together. Like, she's busy but like not really. Like, she's nurturing but also secretive. I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's just a lot going on. And then of course Yorick, oh my god, I didn't know that I would like him, but like I like him, and I really shouldn't like him because this is a man child. But it's okay because he's the last man child on earth. So he has importance by default. And then we have Sam and Hero. And to be honest, like, it couldn't be more of a cliche in the way that their story arc is going and what they're doing. And of course, again, kind of pressing so much on Sam's trans identity and, you know, throwing that into the storyline so much. Like, I feel like if we've introduced Sam as a man, we should just let him be and like not constantly like threaten his manhood by, you know, taking away his testosterone or throwing it into fires. And, you know, sorry, spoiler alert, but a lot of things are happening that threatens Sam's manhood. And then you have Hero, who is just like a mess. I thought her brother was a mess, but no, Hero is the real mess. Like, terrible name for her because she's a real mess. Like, Hero, I don't even know how she even think it's okay to be in this man-hating group. I don't even, and that's a whole other problem that I have. So there's a group, you know, I guess they're supposed to represent the Amazonian women, which terrible representation, but I guess they turn into the Amazonian women after this first part, because they're like held up in like a Costco type place, and they have everything at their disposal. They have food, they have shelter, they got warm blankets, beds, everything you can ask for, clean water. They are set up, they got guns, they have security, perimeter, they have the numbers. They have everything you can ask for, but for whatever reason, the leader of the group insists on everyone having a man-hating ideology. I didn't read the comic book, so this is me coming from me purely from watching the series, and I feel like having a man-hating society in a world where men no longer exist is ridiculous. Like, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Why are you guys bonding over hating men that no longer exist? Like, it just doesn't make sense. It upsets me. I'm not in defense of men or whatever these women, because and that's part of the problem, is that the women that she's selecting to be a part of the fold are easily swayed into hating men because of the life that they experience with these men. So a lot of the women that she bring in are like domestic violence victims, you know, sex violence victims. Like, it's just a lot of different victims that she brings in. So she brings in people that are easily malleable. So it's very shocking to see Hero be one of those women that she's able to convince and bring into the fold, because it just doesn't make sense. Hero grew up with both her parents. Her parents are well-to-do. Her mom is literally the president right now. And I don't know if it's just she's just lazy or the writers are lazy. But somebody needs to get off their ass, because no. Sam is in every right to want to leave this man-hating group, because Sam is a man, and the only reason that Sam gets to be in the group is because Sam doesn't have a Y chromosome. And that is why the trans thing is very sad in this show. Like, it just goes from bad to worse. If you're gonna include someone, include them on their correct terms and don't bait them, you know, and threaten their existence while you put your little show on. You know what I'm saying? So again, one of the issues that I have is that they threaten the masculinity of their trans male characters, and may I add that they don't ever represent any trans women characters, but that's another story for a different day. But on multiple occasions, when Yorick is seen by a woman or someone he shouldn't be seen by, they automatically identify him as a male, but they have no misidentification for trans men. Meaning, without seeing his genitals, they are absolutely certain that he's a man. That's a conflict, like, in your writing. That's a huge conflict. Getting back to why I feel like this show has a slow start and has a long way to go as far as garnering fans is because, for the most part, I don't think people are really ready to watch an hour-long show with just women, especially if those women aren't being seen to their full capacity. Like, they don't really have as much depth as they could. Like, they're very one-dimensional characters. It's almost as if they wanted to have 30 different personalities, and they decide to, instead of, you know, sharing different traits and personalities, they decided to just make different people. There's so many characters. So many characters, too many. And that's why I feel like the trans topic could have been saved for later. It didn't need to be included right then and there, because I feel like you could have did a much worthy representation had you give it time and actually weave that into some type of actual dramatic effort. There are no surprises in this show, really. Everything is kind of slow. It's not bad. It keeps me interested. I still want to watch the show. I want to watch a few more seasons. Are we getting a few more seasons? I don't think so. And that's part of the problem I have with the writers, is that they wrote this as though they knew for certain that they would get all 5 seasons that they wanted. They wrote season 1 like season 2 was already being filmed. Do you know what I'm saying? No, you need to write season 1 like your life depends on it, because it actually does. As evidence right now why the show was canceled. The slow burn thing is cool when you have something that is tried and tested. For example, with Game of Thrones, they were able to do the slow burn thing because there actually were shocks and surprises. And so many people loved it already that it just, they already had the second season locked down, is what I'm saying. And I wish these writers would have really addressed that, but it doesn't seem like they did. I hope that Why the Last Man finds a new home, probably Netflix, but I doubt Disney will give the rights to Netflix or anybody. I have a very, very good feeling that we will just never see the show again. It is gone, gone, gone. And that makes me really, really sad, because I hate it when women finally get like a lead role in something huge or monumental and then it just gets thrown in the drain. But yeah, that's all I gotta say for today for Why the Last Man. It's really sad. I'm not gonna lie, I really just want to watch this. I'll have to catch you guys next time. It's Bianca Woke Up Late. Peace.